All right, so
Okay, good.
we just have to have a discussion about internship and volunteer scenarios. So,
Just be the internet. I don't know.
are you
Okay, but
still?
it's better now.
Are you still? Are you good?
Okay, good. Okay, I'm just pulling up the thing.
Okay. So,
Better.
so we just have to go through these scenarios and then answer like three
Yeah, I'm still here.
questions. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. Sorry. But we can. Sounds good. Yeah. Can you hear me? I guess you can't hear me very well, huh?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is it being weird?
No, you're pretty clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Maybe. No. Yeah? Okay. All right. I have mine pulled up now.
Okay. All right. So you have the scenarios open.
Okay. I think it's all delayed. Okay, I am ready to go when you are. Do you want me to read this scenario? Yeah. Do you want me to
Sure.
read them? Okay, I'll read them if that's okay. Okay. All right. The Hawaii verdict came in the case of an 18-year-old high schooler death by the Maui hotel balcony. Lauren Crossan of Randolph, New Jersey, had traveled to Hawaii in 2004 with Sadler's daughter and another New Jersey cheerleader to perform in the halftime show of the Hula Bowl. Within hours of the Hyatt Regency Maui Resort, Crossan was seen drinking alcohol. Her body was found the next day on the hotel grounds. So do you want to talk about the questions then?
Yeah. Okay. What could have prevented this from occurring? Um,
Um,
maybe stricter supervision. I mean, 'cause if she got a hold of alcohol, well, yeah, yeah. If she got a hold of alcohol, then she wasn't being very closely supervised.
no, absolutely. I really think, yeah, so the chaperones, they're probably a huge account to this. And then also I really think maybe even the balcony had something to do with it. So maybe it wasn't up to standards or protocols with what was necessary for, I don't know. I mean, think of that as a child. Like, I mean, yeah, they're 18 years old, but how high or low was the balcony? Not to be
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so
No.
that's like, I guess, risk management.
Yeah. Um. Is the organization liable for a lawsuit? Why or why not? I'm confused at what organization we're talking about here. Like the group she was with. I'm confused.
It's probably like the high school, like if they're or the cheerleading, whatever
Okay.
place.
I just don't understand how this has anything to do with internships or volunteers.
I don't know, but that's okay, I
Okay.
guess.
No, I mean, if there was proof that someone who was supposed to be watching her saw her with alcohol, I mean, it says someone saw her with alcohol, but it doesn't say somebody that was like supposed to be a chaperone, you know? Like, if they
Right.
saw her with alcohol and didn't do anything about it, then yes, I think that they should be held responsible. But if it was just like an innocent bystander that didn't know her that saw her with alcohol, then no, and it would just kind of depend who provided the alcohol, who was with her. I mean, most teenagers don't drink alone.
Right. So this reminds me a lot of like band trips I'd go on, especially like my freshman year. So there's a guy, like we had, I mean, pretty strict chaperones and everything, and they like patrolled the hallways, but somehow even still, like people always are breaking the rules and like sneaking into girls and guys' bedrooms. There was one guy, we went to California and he put alcohol in shampoo bottles and so that he could like have a huge amount of them. Yeah, I know, crazy. So that's how he got that in, and then they like bought alcohol with like one of the guys had been, I don't know, I'm not even sure. Like maybe he had a fake ID or something. Not even sure.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, so I feel like it's definitely has a lot to do with that, like the chaperoning. Like they should be watching them all the time. I mean, of course, the 18-year-old is held accountable and they are of age to be legal adults, but
But not legal
they
to
should
drink.
be, yeah. But like, I mean, if they're responsible for them, then it's, yeah, I feel like they're definitely viable.
Okay. How would you go about repairing the situation?
I
Um,
don't know if you can repair death, to be honest,
I don't think you can repair death. I think
but
the only thing that they could do is put in whether like it could go two ways. Either they already have policies and procedures in place and people weren't following them. So in that case, you just need to crack down on, the chaperones being held responsible for keeping an eye on the kids, making sure that they don't get their hands on alcohol and doing stuff like that. Or they didn't have policies and procedures in place, and so the chaperones were none the wiser, didn't really know what they were supposed to be doing. In that case, there needs to be a like rules defined, what you do in situations, what's okay, what's not, and training on, how to keep kids safe. Because I mean, I wouldn't have even thought about shampoo or alcohol in shampoo bottles. So, like, I don't know.
no, it's crazy.
It's
No, definitely.
insane.
I really think, I mean, being considered that chaperones, regardless if they're asked to come or not, like it is, I guess, and this is where it applies, they really are volunteers.
Yeah, it's true.
So there really needs to be more training as far as what is required of them, what is expected of them, and yeah, just in those situations and like kind of, I mean, they should probably even like role play with them and just kind of say these are problems that we've had in the past. These are, how we need to go about them. And I mean, I feel like that's a big problem that agencies have is that they don't necessarily talk about the past problems. And I feel like that's probably a way that they can go about it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Hold on. So we're welcome to look at um oh, never mind. I don't want to click on that. All right. So the next one, I'll read it. Scenario
Okay.
2. In Maryland, 2 men, former volunteer firefighters in Anne Arundel County, have filed a sex abuse lawsuit claiming that Louis A. DeCamara, a former president of Odenton Volunteer Fire Company, sexually abused them on multiple occasions when they were teenage recruits. The men said that fire officials ignored them when they reported the incident. The Anne Arundel County government and the fire company are named in the sex abuse lawsuit. Alright, so what could have prevented this from occurring? Oh, jeez. The abuse or the lawsuit?
I feel like probably the abuse, or maybe both.
Okay. Well, the lawsuit could have been prevented if somebody listened to them. If
Right.
somebody took action, then the whole company wouldn't be being sued. It would probably just be the one man. He probably would have, obviously been fired, and he might have been taken to court, but the whole company probably wouldn't have. But to
Right.
prevent the abuse, that's a tricky one.
I don't know if you can necessarily. Well, you can't always. You can't always, I feel like, prevent abuse because I mean people are gonna do what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
But
there's
as
things
far as
like
like they should have protocols and procedures that deal with at least reporting things and yeah, like especially with listening. So
I think one thing that they could do is maybe offer like sexual harassment training, like how you have to sit through those like
yeah.
skills about sexual harassment. Well, I know
Hmm.
employees mostly have to do it, but not all the time do volunteers have to sit through that. So if they knew, like, if they went through a class, a little mini class saying, this is what sexual harassment is. We here at the fire department do not approve of that, and this is what we want you to do. And then, like, if that happens, so then they could have maybe been, I don't know, more aware of themselves, more aware of maybe things that were leading up to the abuse. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I mean,
And I
it's
feel
really
like
hard to look back and be like, how could you have prevented that? But I don't know.
maybe even like a discretionary number to call.
Yeah.
Like I know like there's like the suicide hotline, but maybe something like that reports exactly to somebody within the agency, but not necessarily somebody that is there 24/7 or observing things, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like an outside kind of source thing.
Yeah. Okay. So is the organization liable for a lawsuit? Why or why not?
I would say yes because they refuse to listen to them.
Yeah. That's what I think too.
And
Uh,
then how would we repair the situation? I feel like I don't know. Did we already talk about that? Just
uh,
repairing it would be fixing what was the damage that was done. So I don't know, apologies. That doesn't really cut it though, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, I know you can't really. That's kind of like the death thing. You can't take back sexual abuse.
Haha, I'm sorry, I take that back. No, it doesn't work like that. Well I feel like
Yeah, I
not
know.
necessarily even the
Sorry
sex
for mortifying
but
you and scarring you for life.
yeah, no, that'd be mortifying even. But I feel like more so though, it'd be, the company's responsibility for not listening to them. So as far as like repairing it, maybe even
They could provide
I don't know, I
counseling. They
guess
could
maybe
pay. They could cover for the payment of
yeah.
counseling.
And then also like for yeah, fees. Yep, I agree. That's a good outlet.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that, I mean, could really repair the situation, but counseling could help them move on with their life and not hold on to it so it doesn't define them. So,
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say something like maybe something with the job or like increasing, I don't know, benefits maybe. I don't know.
and then within
But
the agency, they would definitely need to either crack down on their sexual harassment protocols, or, like I said before, rewrite them and instill better ones. You know,
yeah,
and obviously that guy needs to go. He shouldn't be in the company
yes,
anymore. And
fired. And also he needs to be reported to like any other like
yeah,
department
oh
or
yeah,
anything so that it's on a
oh yeah, he
record
needs to
basis.
be. Yeah, he needs to be on. Yeah,
These
because
scenarios are reminding me of like Criminal Minds or some like crime show where we have to diagnose behavior. Okay, do you want me to read the third
okay,
one?
sure, go ahead.
Okay, Mayor Mark Funkhauser took his city
Okay.
council colleagues to court on Friday, seeking to overturn a measure that bans his wife, Gloria Squitiero, from volunteering regularly in his office. A lawsuit in Jackson County Circuit Court makes a new face in the ongoing battle between the mayor and the council over how Funkhauser handles his office, his mayoral powers, and his public role. Council members said the ordinance had been prompted because Squitiero was a full-time unpaid worker in her husband's office and become a source of controversy.
Oh, geez.
Interesting.
Um. Okay, so what could have prevented this from occurring?
Having policies and procedures for volunteers.
Yeah. Um. Well, I think I know that there's been some jobs that I've had that ask you about relatives. I don't know if that goes for a mayor. Like, is it ethical for his wife to be working? I mean, most politicians' wives or other spouse or husbands are usually very involved in their work, but I don't know about like actually working in his
The
office. I don't
same
know.
vicinity. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
No, I
know.
agree. I do know that I think even the school has a policy like that. That
Yeah.
even for the on-campus jobs, you can't have a sibling in the same department. Like you can't work with your sibling or your spouse. And so
Yeah.
if you want to work a job, it has to be a completely different department. And that makes sense because
Hmm.
you could, gang up on other people or be lazy together or
Yeah, and
yeah.
like especially like being married, like if they have a fight, then that affects the whole like office. Like that could start to divide people and like taking sides, like because they're fighting ornery with each other, like holding something against each other and taking it out through their work.
Yeah, no, really though.
Yeah. So, what could have prevented it? So either she shouldn't have been working there, or just more restrictive on, because it says she was like full time. It should be like if she was volunteering, it shouldn't be full time. It should be a lot less. I don't know a certain number, but really restrict her on the amount she can be there.
Well, and also like who she gets to work with and
Yeah,
like over what. It shouldn't be necessarily anything that's connected to her husband, I feel like. So,
yeah. Nothing that her biased opinion could influence.
right.
Okay, is the organization liable for a lawsuit? Why or why not? Okay, I'm kind of confused a little bit. Let me reread this.
I'm like rereading it too. Let's see.
Okay, so he doesn't want her banned. The city council does want her banned.
Interesting. Well, that kind of makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as like them being liable for a lawsuit, I feel like it's more at fault of not the organization, but well, I guess it's being somewhat negligent as far as not restricting things initially, as far as allowing her to work in the same place or a certain amount of hours.
Yeah.
So that is being liable.
Yeah. This is a tricky one. I'm not really sure.
I would say so, yes, just because of negligence.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Scenario number 4. 2 former volunteers at the Bergen County Animal Shelter alleged they were let go for exposing animal cruelty at the facility and notified the county on Wednesday that they will file a lawsuit. In a notice of claim sent to county officials, Michelle Cohen of Hackensack and Glenn Gilbert of Wallington said the termination was a violation of their First Amendment right to free speech. In an interview Thursday, Cohen and Gilbert said they discovered last year that animals at the Teterboro shelter were being euthanized by injecting drugs into their hearts, a procedure they called inhumane and outdated. They also said animals were killed, although they could have been treated and adopted. Gilbert, a former Jersey City police officer who volunteered regularly at the shelter since he retired 16 years ago, said he and Cohen asked county officials to conduct an investigation. We decided to go public because we got no response to our complaint, said Gilbert, explaining why he posted several comments on pet-related websites and message boards last summer in which he detailed the allegations. Okay, how could this been prevented?
So it's saying that like Wallington was a termination violation of the First Amendment right to speech, yet they were being, I guess, cruel and yeah.
Huh.
This is an interesting one.
It is. So, what are we wanting to prevent? The lawsuit? Or, yeah, I think it's a lawsuit, right? If it's the lawsuit, then having them be heard, I think, first
Right.
and foremost. And then, I mean, if it is true that they got fired for this, then it is, like, a violation of their right, and the agency shouldn't have, I know that that's one thing that I've read in, like, the termination, like, you can't just fire, like, someone, you have to have, reasons to, and there's
Probable cause.
Yeah, like, not necessarily legal, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I find it really interesting at the very last, they said, we decided to go public because we got no response or complaints. So, I mean, in that sense, and especially where, they're saying that's a termination or that was a violation of right to speech,
Grant?
then yeah, definitely. I mean, they're liable for.
Where's your daddy go? Hold on just a second.
Oh, you're good.
Thank you.
Was he stirring? Morgan? Was he stirring? And he just went back to sleep. His mom was watching some of that.
Okay, so are they liable? So we're talking about the organization, the animal shelter organization. Are they liable for the lawsuit?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
They're being inhumane and cruel. And they were not listening to their workers.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, that's a problem in itself, but I think
shut them down.
What we're looking at is how they treated their volunteers.
Employees. Yeah, or
employees.
volunteers.
Yeah, but yeah, that was unfair of them and illegal. So, how would you go about repairing the situation? Hiring them back and stop being inhumane.
I feel like maybe even a better way is probably I don't know, just because your company or your shelter would then be, I mean, if they went public about it, that means that they went to the media, and so they would be on the chopping block, like, seriously. So they would need to make a public statement about what they did, like a public apology, and then they would need to offer at least some kind of benefits or some kind of contingencies or promises concerning volunteers that work there in the future, and then also protection for, and like write at least some kind of, policy concerning what they would be doing and announce that, and then before they could even be, I don't know, considered to be okay again, or like, I guess I guess be able to open again. I don't know.
I agree. Yeah. So they not only need to make the changes, but they need to publicly announce that they've made those changes.
Yeah, and it needs to go on record to where it's written and publicly said.
Okay, scenario 5. Do you want to read it? Do you want me to read it?
I can read it. It says an insurance company that paid out the claim of Nova Scotia a Nova Scotia couple after a devastating fire and suing 2 volunteer fire departments, claiming the damage could have been avoided. The lawsuit of Aviva is against the North Sydney and French Dale volunteer departments. The fire departments were called to a home in North Sydney in July 2007. They put out a blaze in a back bedroom, but it reappeared a few hours later and destroyed the rest of the house. Larry and Diane Stonehouse spent the next 9 months in hotels. A statement of claim filed in Nova Scotia Supreme Court in Halifax says the fire departments didn't have specialized equipment designed to detect heat and flame or turn to somebody that did. Interesting. How did they not? I feel like, okay, so I've actually taken a firefighting class, and like fire departments definitely have equipment to detect heat and flame.
This fire department is under-equipped. And even though, okay.
So they paid out a claim.
That's a problem in itself. If you're going to be going out and firefighting, you need to be
fully equipped.
Yeah. And if you're not, it says that they didn't turn to someone that did have the equipment. If you don't have the equipment, you need to turn to somebody who does.
Well, that's like completely false. Like there's always, so as far as like dispatch goes and everything within a fire department, there's always nearby fire stations that are always like connected to them, at least for contacts information to be able to reach them in case they need help with anything. So that like statement of claim, that claim is completely false. So
Huh.
I don't know. That's just me though. I mean, but that
Well,
kind of adds to the case of why they would be liable.
yeah. Yeah, it sounds like they weren't thorough in making sure it was safe to leave.
I mean, especially saying this, claiming the damage could have been avoided. They put out a
Mhm.
blaze, but it reappeared a few hours later, destroyed the rest of the
Yeah,
house.
because it could have been just a bedroom, but instead it ended up their house. So that's kind of a huge deal.
Well, and like no fire department in their right mind would ever leave a home unless it like the heat was completely gone or the source of the heat or the oxygen, like the three components that make a fire. So
Hmm.
I don't know. That's just
Yeah. Okay, so is the organization liable? Yes.
yes.
How would you go about repairing it? Um, well, you could start with um, paying for their hotels that they've had to live in
Oh yeah.
for that amount of time. Um,
I think as well, I mean making sure like they need to be up to protocol with the equipment that they have as far as equipment to detect heat and flame, and then they need to get in contact with their dispatch buddies, like their neighboring cities, I guess. I don't know. That's just.
yeah. Sorry.
Is your baby okay?
Yeah.
She is so cute.
Thanks. I'm
You're
trying to tell my
welcome.
husband to go get her some baby food. That's what I was trying to tell him to do.
Good.
Okay. So yeah, we covered the repairing.
We were just
So
talking about how would you go about repairing it.
well, there's I don't know, like I don't know what all they could do.
I think just updating their equipment.
Oh yeah. So sorry, I'm thinking about for this couple that now doesn't have a house, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't. It's I don't know, like that's tricky because insurance is involved, and
I know. I was about to say like if they, yeah, insurance has a big role in it.
yeah. So I don't even want to go there. But yeah, so preventing it from happening again. Yeah, getting the equipment. If they're having funding issues, then like take it to the community. Use this like even as sad as this is, but use this example as like, look, like we don't want this to happen again. Like we need funding for new equipment, you know,
Right.
or like yeah, I don't know,
Well, and
figure
I
out
think it
something.
should be required. Like that should be something that is mandated by every fire station.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay,
You're so good.
I think that was the last one.
Okay,
Cool.
sweet.
Yay! And then okay, I'll stop broadcasting.